Welcome, everybody. It's the ShopNotes Podcast, reaching a milestone, episode number 250. We got here. We did it. On this episode, we're going to answer some listener questions, check in with all the doings that are going on here at Woodsmith and Popular Woodworking, and just have a nice little day of memories of all the fun that we've had here on the podcast. And yes, we have had some fun here. This episode of the ShopNotes Podcast is brought to you by Gorilla Glue. When you're working on a project in the shop, you put hours of effort. The last thing you want is for it to come apart because the glue didn't hold. That's why you should keep a bottle of Gorilla Glue on the bench in your shop. It's non-foaming, cleans up with water, dries a natural color, and of course, there's the reliable Gorilla strength you can always trust. Also, check out Gorilla Wood Filler for strong, durable repairs. Gorilla is strong enough for the pro and easy enough for the beginner. Built by you, backed by Gorilla.
So, two things. If this episode is about talking about all the fun we've had, is it going to be a really short episode?
Probably.
Okay.
Definitely not sauna length.
Yeah, it's going to be short. And the other thing is, now that we're at 250, it just reminds me of the regret that I had 10 episodes ago. I didn't shout out the bean soup episode. It was 240. Mm-hmm. 240.
Yeah, because Irish bean soup can't have any more than 239 beans in it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's 240.
And that concludes episode 250, everyone.
All right, we'll check in with some listener comments. Last issue, Puppy Doc said, "Glad you enjoyed all the tasty treats. It's just my way of saying thanks for the weekly entertainment." Driftless Joinery says, "Your talk of carts reminded me I was going to make a new small cart to move parts around after I put a Panto router on my old one. But Phil's comment about tool stands on wheels made me count how many carts I have that don't ever move. That would be 4.
Yep.
Boy9GGZ says, "I would love to have carts in my shop, but I have no room for them. I have tools on wheels, planer, bandsaw, miter saw, shopsmith, but no room for a cart to act like a cart to move supplies, project parts during construction, etc."
You know, on the cart thing, real quick, I got a message from one of our listeners. Hold on, this boomer has to figure out how to get his Instagram messages quick. I don't really ever know how to do that. Yeah, so Pat Donovan sent me a folding cart that looks pretty cool off of crescenttool.com. So the makers of the Crescent Wrench.
Oh, okay.
Because we were talking about the storage of it, and this one like folds in half and it holds 300 pounds. He said there's a Lowe's version too. So okay. I may be checking them out. So we'll see. Just that comment about the cart made me think of that.
Yeah. To the point that we made, and the comment by Driftless Joinery there, like, just because you have carts doesn't mean that they need to move. I think that only works if your shop is a certain size. And otherwise, it's more about flexibility than it is about having stuff on the go all the time.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But Almost Perfection says, "Everything on wheels. The boss is still convinced cars belong in my shop."
That's shenanigans.
That would be another question that I would have, that I pose for our listeners out there, is how many of you have a garage shop where it is the shop and the cars have been relegated to being feral, living outside?
My wife got home from a trip last night, and I texted her before she landed, like, "Hey, you can't pull in the garage. I'm sorry." there's a skid loader in the way because it was raining and I needed to get the skid loader inside.
It doesn't fit in your big outbuilding?
Okay, John, there's a duck boat in there. I put the sawmill inside, and I currently have a bunch of lumber stacked in the single stall that I need to break down into turning blanks. Mm-hmm. I'm blaming this one on Jimmy Clues because we got a pallet going down there that is kind of spread out all over.
Right.
Okay.
So, yes.
John doesn't sound entirely convinced.
I know he doesn't. Have I measured it, and will it fit on the patio of the shop? Yes, it will. Like, I could park it on the patio like an overhang, like a carport.
Oh, right.
But those tires tend to leave black smudges all over. And
yeah, that would be the skid in the skid steer.
That would be the skid part, yep.
Plus, it was already by the house anyways because you were loading lumber into the basement. Keep it out of the rain.
That's right. That's right.
Put it in the patio door.
Yep.
I thought you were moving your metalworking stuff out to your...
Not yet. Not yet.
John Nasta has a couple of comments here. He said, Logan should definitely move his metalworking tools into his garage. That'll give him space for 3 or 4 more lathes, plus the shopsmith he secretly wants.
And as I replied back to John, he can't prove shit. He can't prove nothing.
Yeah, because he also followed up with, did I just hear correctly that Logan broke his friend's jointer in order to salvage the switch bracket instead of fashioning a new one with all the metalworking tools in his shop? This is the kind of shade that John and I live for here, really.
Yep. That's why we do this.
As a famous American artist once said, happy little accidents.
There you go.
Yep.
Had a few comments from our special episode with Colin and Nick Offerman. Steegs T writes, this interview was absolutely fantastic. Very well done. Nick Offerman is quickly becoming similar to Snoop Dogg as an American treasure of personality. Mm-hmm. They both can be slightly divisive at times, but really can bring some joy and fun to the world. A fight against technology is definitely tricky to balance with replacing the mundane tasks you don't enjoy to continue working on a project that you do enjoy creating, making, and building. Almost Perfection says, really great interview. Loved my Votech classes in high school. And then Alfida 158 says, thank you, great episode. I also listened to an interview with Mr. Offerman on the Bullseye podcast. Can't get enough. Oh, and please try not to run your Samsung washer or dryer during interviews, as that song the machine plays when the cycle is complete can be really off-putting. Mm-hmm. In fact, my dryer plays that, and if I can unload the dryer before the song finishes, I win.
Yep.
FYI, the roughly 30-second tune that plays to notify you that the cycle has ended is from Austrian composer Franz Schubert's Piano Quintet in A major, otherwise known as Die Forelle, or the Trout in German.
I will tell you, we just got rid of our Samsung washer and dryer. Speed Queens for the win. But did the obnoxious song that they play come into play during my decision? 100%. Obnoxious.
It's like a modern day Pavlov's dog. It just triggers something in the brain.
There you go. Yep. ShopNotes Podcast. Come for the woodworking. Stay for the cultural entertainment. Mm-hmm. So Speed Queen does not have a jingle it plays at the end?
No, it's great. It goes meep, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, they are no frills, absolutely ugliest. Like, I know that was in my apartment building back in the mid-90s. It's that type of washer and dryer. Mm-hmm. But they just run, and they're quiet.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at dishwashers right now, and it's like, this one has the app that can do all this and 11 different cycles. Like, I just want to push one button and it washes the dishes and I move on. I don't need all the frills and the extra stuff. But
it's funny because I think that, tying this into woodworking too, like, I think there are people that really like the frills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Harvey released their A15 intelligent bandsaw. Like, there are people that are really going to like all those little features and all those cool little things they can do with it. Throw Shaper Origin in with that, right? Like, there's all these little modules that you can either buy or install that, you can easily set up finger joints, stuff like that. But then there's people that they just want a bandsaw with an on-off button.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that just want...
And they want it 36 inches.
Yeah, yes, exactly. With a VFD, so it's a little bit more convoluted than that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, I get both sides of it. Like, yeah, like, so there are some modern tech features that are really nice to have in, woodworking equipment or, stuff in your house or whatever. But, like, then there's some times where it's like, I just want the damn thing to work. And I want it to be simple. And now I kind of get why my grandpa, whenever he bought a new truck, would custom order a truck that didn't have power windows or power locks. And it's just one more thing to break. Like, I kind of get it now.
Yeah.
So
going off of that one comment, or a couple of comments actually, I did want to push on you a little bit for that, because you kind of, as you said, have foot in both worlds, in the sense that you have a bandsaw that's essentially just an on-off switch. You have a lot of vintage machines for those reasons, but then you're also deep into like hand tool stuff, but then also have like the Origin, the Panto router, done some laser stuff, not unfamiliar with CNC work.
Yeah.
Does that feel, how does that track in your pursuit of the stuff that you make?
I think it distills down to yourself as a woodworker and what you enjoy and knowing what you're trying to get out of it, right? Like, hand tool stuff, I do that for me. Like, I don't do that for production, right? Like, if I am building mahogany entry doors for a church, I'm not running all those with a molding plane. I'm running those over the shaper. That is me getting that done. If I'm working on a project and I'm in the zone and it's like, you know what, it's been a long week at work, I'm going to surface all these parts with my hand plane, and that's just me shutting everything off except an audiobook and doing that for 3 hours. So, like, I mean, there's a time and a place for everything, I think. Shopsmiths included. In the back end of a dump trailer going to the dump. Just kidding, Jesus. But here's a good example, right? Last week, we were here doing some filming with a laser, a dual fuel laser, fiber and diode laser all in one. And it has the capabilities of engraving metal, which is crazy to me. Like, for a home shop laser that is sub $4,000, it can laser engrave O1 tool steel, no issues. Like, I put the Popular Woodworking logo on I did it on a hand plane blade. I did it on a couple of tool steel parallels I have, machinist parallels. Like, that's crazy. That is a modern day tool. But, like, how else am I going to do that if I wanted to do that in my shop? Like, I'm not going to buy gravers and an engraving vise to sit there and hand engrave stuff. Like, I respect it and I would love to learn that craft, but that's not what I have time for. So for me, being able to drop a tool in there, set up a file in 30 seconds and run it, phenomenal. It's all about, I think, efficiencies, and there are certain machines that I believe it's not needed to make them any more complex than they are.
Sure.
At the current shop state, I guess. Let me preface it with that. So like the jointer, the planer, those are pretty simple machines. Give me an on-off button, feed rollers turn on, feed rollers turn off. Bandsaw, same thing. Harvey does have their A15 intelligent bandsaw, as I mentioned, and it's a very cool machine. It is. If you take they're calling it their intelligent bandsaw. There's a bunch of sensors in it. It reads out a bunch of parameters as it's running, table angle, blade tension, all this stuff. Like, that's all cool. But if you take that stuff out, it's just a really nicely made bandsaw. Like, I have their Alpha here, and I thought that was a nice saw. But, like, looking at this thing, like, this thing's that much better. It is a heavy saw. The guide system's fantastic on it. Does the intelligent part necessitate me buying that? Absolutely not. Not at this point. Now, I think if you look 10 years down the road and it's like, oh, what I think would be cool is if you had your table saw, your bandsaw, your drill press, your jointer, they all had this, quote, intelligent feature where it's part of a shop hub, and I can be standing at my bandsaw and I can pull up the plans on the bandsaw, and I can tick off parts as I'm cutting parts to size, so I'm keeping track of parts or any of that stuff. Like, I think there's some cool potential there. In today's shop, it's not needed for how I work. But again, there are people that absolutely want those bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And I think what people are doing now, people being manufacturers, is they're starting to think outside the box a little bit, which is good, right? Like if we continued to make bandsaws like we did in the 30s, 40s, 50s, they'd be made really well, but nobody would be able to afford them. So, there's some give and take there.
Yeah.
Now, with sorry, John. With all that said, lathes are one thing that I think have really advanced, because they do have the variable speed controls, servo motors. They have some advancements in modern lathes where, depending on the type of motor, they can increase torque when it's needed and not when it's not needed. So if you're taking a heavy cut, it actually will apply more torque to the motor to keep the speed up, which is not something we would have done 30 years ago. So that I think there's definitely some benefit to.
Yeah, a lot of those features are marketing too, just because most people will buy a table saw or a bandsaw or drill press, and it's going to last their woodworking life and probably even get handed down to the next generation and last their woodworking life. So they always have to add more features or latest and greatest to get people to like, oh, I need to get rid of my old bandsaw and get the new, great thing. And so keeps companies going, just got to keep selling tools rather than things lasting forever. I mean, that's in all industries, really. So.
Yeah. Now, I mean, there, technology and material engineering has evolved, right? So the cast iron of today is better than the cast iron of, 100 years ago, 100%. Quality control has gone up. Processes to make it have gone up. Likewise, like if we're looking at a company like JPW, Jet Powermatic Wilton, so they released their Armor Glide coating that they put on their bandsaws, jointers, table saws. It is a PFTE, Teflon is the brand name, coating that goes on their saws. It's fantastic. It works really nicely. There is also the Jet Black series, which is similar, little different coating, I think, similar. It is very hard to get Teflon to stick to cast iron. I don't know the chemistry behind that, but it is hard. So that's something that wouldn't have been able to be done, 50 years ago, but they're able to get it to work. And we have in the shop there with you guys, we have the jet jointer and the bandsaw from Powermatic, and both those were at my shop for a while, so I got a lot of time with those. It's a great advancement. Like, that's fantastic. They don't rust when you get, wet sawdust on them. If you don't have a climate-controlled shop, they don't rust. It's really nice. Likewise, Harvey has their new nickel plating, which, same thing. It's fantastic. Low friction. But you're right. I think it is like a marketing thing to... The easiest people to sell to are the people that have already bought from you, right? So it would be interesting to know, like Powermatic, what's their repeat customer and what's the overall lifespan of their customer? Because you buy 6 tools from Powermatic, your shop's pretty much equipped. Like, the likelihood of that customer purchasing another Powermatic item is pretty low because their shop's pretty much equipped. Unless there's a new bandsaw that has a Teflon coating and it's like, oh, hey, you know what? That would be really nice. Or I want to go from a 14-inch bandsaw to an 18-inch bandsaw. Like, there's some of that, I'm sure. But you're right. There has to be a reason for somebody to upgrade their tools. Whether they need it or not, it's all a perceived value on what that customer wants. But yeah, I mean... I guess at the end of the day, I see value in both sides of it, and I would never detract from anybody choosing one way or another. If you want all the bells and whistles, more power to you. If you want big, dumb, stupid, simple machines, like, go for it. And I don't think there's any problem mixing and matching. That's what I've done. That's why, honestly, that's why I bought the skid loader I bought, is because I could have got a bigger skid loader for the same price, but the one I bought, it's a Case 1845C, and I know there's going to be like one person that listens to this podcast and be like, yep, that's the bulletproof skid loader, because they're all mechanical. There's no electronics in it. Like, there's nothing to go wrong. So, I like bells and whistles. I love bells and whistles on certain things.
I mean, there's we talked about the production side of it, the marketing side of it, which, all plays a role. I think there's almost like an evolutionary aspect of it, in the sense that you have different companies trying out different features, and some of those are going to turn out to be the standard features moving forward, and some of them are just kind of a dead end that never see the light of day again.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just kind of interesting to, have companies that are willing to take a risk to try stuff just to see what it's like. Like last week when we were talking about the Steel City things, like when their granite top table saws and joiners and bandsaw tables and whatever came out, everybody was like, man, this is super cool. It's way nicer than cast iron because of this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, yeah, in some ways it certainly is. And there was a move that granite or other materials than cast iron would constitute machine tables, and clearly cast or granite is not that one.
Yeah.
Because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah. I expect, and I don't know this, because I think there are, and obviously, we know a lot of these manufacturers. We get to talk to them, kind of behind the curtains for the most part. So we know a lot of this stuff. But, like, I think obviously there are different target markets for each brand, right? Yeah. You got Grizzly that's making a million tools, targeting every budget out there, from the beginner that wants a benchtop tool for $100 to industrial tools that are $50,000. They got everything. Then you got JPW, or Jet's kind of that everyman serious woodworker. And then Powermatic's more that prosumer level. Harvey, I think I would group with like Jet, and I'd put Laguna in that mix as well. So everybody's kind of targeting different segments, but kind of the same segments. And I think what we're going to see is the features that people start adding to tools that are successful, we're going to start seeing those become the standard. So I think in 10 years, I don't know that we'll see any cast iron tops anymore on something that is not coated with Teflon or plating. Personally, that's just that's just a guess. Knowing full well that a lot of these things are coming out of the same factories. So it's probably pretty easy for, somebody like Laguna or Grizzly, who does not have a coated surface currently, to say, hey, we know that you guys are making these for, Powermatic. Obviously, they have patents on that, but we want something similar that doesn't infringe upon their patents. I would be surprised if that doesn't happen. Now, also, one of the vendors we had at WIA, Carbon Method, just on the cast iron thing, they offer a cast iron coating that does very similar things to the Teflon and the nickel plating. And it works really well. I use that on my table saw all the time. Mm-hmm. And on my vintage cast iron stuff, because it's not cost effective to send a 36-inch bandsaw table out for Teflon coating.
Wouldn't it be cheaper just to spray like Pam cooking spray on the surfaces?
It would, but then the dogs just stop. They won't stop licking it then.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. I mean, how do you think this guy's coat is so shiny?
Yeah.
The trick is that you have to buy the Pam baking spray, because then it smells wonderful. It smells like vanilla.
Yeah. Right.
Or just go with bacon grease. Just rub that in.
Yeah.
Just a light coat. Buff it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. There you go. This episode of the ShopNotes Podcast is sponsored by Harvey Industries. Good enough is not good enough. See all of our new tools at harveywoodworking.com.
That was a rabbit hole. Did not mean to go down.
No,
that's how we do it.
Yeah.
I was
gonna say, what was up with all the serious woodworking talk? Where did we?
Yeah.
We totally went off on a tangent there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alienated all of our viewers.
Yeah. Anybody that's still left, we're about to get to the fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I've been having a lot of fun with? Kind of going off on a tangent again. I've been sawmilling the crap out of logs, right?
Right.
After WIA, I had the mill set up, and I was getting through 3 or 4 logs a day. And I can get through logs really quickly. I've been having a heck of a fun time just cutting firewood.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I love it. It's almost like it's more fun to cut and split the firewood than it is to make the boards.
Yeah. Yeah, we were all there last week, and you had the axe there, and we all took a chop at it, and it's this is fun.
Yeah, so. Especially if you get a nice wood, there was a big oak log that I was going to bring. Oh, I think we talked about this. There was a big oak log I was going to bring to WIA. I couldn't get it picked up. That stuff splits so nice. Mm-hmm. Wet oak and wet ash. Oh, it splits so wonderful. Walnut, same way. Cherry as well. But it's you take those offcuts. I built a sawbuck. Some reason my tree guys like to drop pines off. I freaking hate sawing pines. Usually, Phil's my way to get rid of pine boards. Usually,
yes.
So, but there was this little one, and I'm it's 10 inches in diameter. So it's we're just gonna make a bunch of 4x4 posts out of it, and then I cut them into. So I basically screwed together a sawbuck so I could take all my offcuts, set them onto this, and then chop them to length. I've just been having so much fun doing it. I don't know why. And maybe it's just because it is, I'm very result driven. So I like to have something to show for the end of the day.
Sure.
So it's all of a sudden it's oh, I got a big stack of firewood, and it's all nicely stacked around the patio of the shop. I don't know. I've been having fun doing it. I'm sure that there are people that are listening that grew up cutting firewood with a dad or a grandpa and are like, you're an idiot. Like, that was the worst freaking time of my life. My dad hated it. Like, my grandpa used to bring him cutting firewood. My dad absolutely despised it.
Yeah.
But then I'm sure that there are other people. I had a friend that stopped over a few days ago when I was actually out milling. He's like, oh, man. He's like, I love cutting firewood. It's like, I do too. So.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those tasks. I mean, and there's a bunch of woodworking tasks that are the same way, where there's just enough mental engagement to keep you going on it through the repetition or the somewhat tedium on it, but it's not super demanding of a high level of focus. And like you said, you can end up, you start with like a big pile of just random stuff, and then you work through, and then it turns into a big pile of prepared whatever.
Yep, ready to go. Yeah.
I mean, it's very similar, I would think, to sawmilling, especially working through your backlog, where you have like literally backlogs of just random logs piled up, and then to turn them into boards where it's like, now I can do something with this.
Yep.
It's kind of like saying, you know what's fun? Pouring concrete. Or, you know what's fun? Roofing. It's like, it's all right if you can do it on your own, like just do it for fun. But then it's like, if you had to do it every day in 100-degree heat and 100% humidity, not so fun.
Also, why I'm mentioning this at the end of October when it's 50 degrees out, I can have a flannel on, splitting firewood. You know, I put my headphones on and listen to an audiobook as I'm going. Which, side note, okay, I have an issue with hearing protection manufacturers, okay? And I know they do this for a reason. I have a couple of Bluetooth headsets that I have an IsoTunes Work Connect. It's a big orange one. Actually has a microphone, so I could talk to somebody else I was working with, which is actually really nice if we're sawmilling and stuff. Then I have a set of the 3M solar connects. So they charge with solar power. So as you're outside working, end of the day, they're still at like 100%, which is pretty cool. I can't get the volume high enough on those to hear my audiobook over like a chainsaw or the skid loader. Which I know it's a volume thing. Like they're trying, like I'm sure there's regulations. Like you can't be louder than XYZ decimals. But it's really annoying. Like it's almost like I need to put my AirPods in my ears, play my book through those, and then put headphones on. First world problems, am I right?
Yeah. All right, there you go. All right, John, what's the latest with you?
Oh, what is the latest with me? We were getting ready to start shooting the TV show, getting projects and that kind of got kicked to the side. We have waiting on a camera, so working ahead on the next project design for Woodsmith, which is actually a box that Phil built. So the other day, that I don't know what you call it, that little spice box, and it's like it's like I'll just draw that up. That can be a project in the magazine. So,
you got our table saw outfeed table drawn up yet?
I have concepts of a plan, as they say.
That's how I build all my stuff.
Right. So, it's if we had to start building it today, I'd be ready. I got all the stuff. I got, concepts of a plan drawn up. So, but it's kind of like the workbenches that we did for this all new like one wall workshop or whatever we're calling it for this class. I drew up the concept, but then I was building it. So it's like I kind of built it and changed it as I went and changed things. Yeah. And so then I had to go back and redo the drawings to reflect what I actually built. So
which to be completely fair, that is exactly how I build stuff. Like if I have an idea, I'll draw it up in SketchUp to the best of my ability. And I want to be very clear, to the best of my ability, which is not very good. and then I'll build it, and I'll be like, okay, this is how I actually want to do this, and then I'll take a bunch of photos to my phone, and then I'll have Danielle change the SketchUp model, because I don't know how to do that in SketchUp.
Yeah.
So then here's a question for both of you. Like, on a project like that, at what point do you feel, like where's the tipping point between I have enough drawn up that I can freestyle after that versus like it's also the enthusiasm, like I'm sick of drawing stuff, I just need to build it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually if it's me building, it's like, here's a general sketch of the basic sizes, and then I start building, and then kind of go back and forth.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
as long as part dimensions.
As start with the the outer whatever, the case or the main part, and then you're fitting doors to that, or drawers, or you start fitting or kind of moving stuff around a little bit. But as long as I have the basic overall size, I just like to start building. So that's a little bit different than normal, when it's like I have to do all the drawings and then hand them off to Mark, and that's a little bit more stressful because it's like, I don't know what this is going to be actual like when it's built. So
yeah, if I can have dimensions where I can roll in there and say, okay, I know these rails are this long, visible, plus tenons. Mm-hmm. That's all I need. Like if I can get, I go for proportions first and then dimensions. So it's like if it looks right and is the right size, I'm ready to go. Like I don't need the joinery all drawn out. I don't need to know what the tenon size are, because honestly, it doesn't really matter. Like as long as the sizes are all there, there are certain things that do not matter. Tenon dimensions, mortises, that type of stuff, grooves, dados, rabbets, like that stuff doesn't really matter, and it can all be changed. As long as outer dimensions are ready to go, let's full send.
Yeah. The last box that I drew up and was a project for the magazine, I drew it all up and handed it off to Mark, and didn't see it again until it was built. And it's like, oh, that was a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like I didn't really have a concept of like, actual proportional size. So it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, maybe I should have done a little prototype or mock-up or something in real life. Cause sometimes it's just hard to picture sizes when you're just looking at dimensions. So
yeah. Well, it's like, I'm working on this mahogany table for the same church I built these doors for. I'm sure I'm going to reveal my obliviousness to this, but like I'm sure there's a name for this, but it's when you walk into this church, there's a table, an entry table that has a tray with sand, and you light candles and you put the candles in there, right? So I'm sure it's I think an Orthodox church thing. So that's what this table is. And I have it all drawn up in SketchUp. I will point out, I do try to actually include joinery, so there's less work for Danielle when she gets into it. More so there's less questions that I have to answer when it comes to it. But I have it drawn up, and I'm looking at it, and it looks like it's way longer than it wants to be. But it's like I'm kind of building it for the space, and I texted everybody. I'm like, hey guys, like I built this in SketchUp. I have the 3D model. Stylistically, it looks great. It's going to match what we want it to look like, but overall, it's so much longer than it should be. Like it's 70 inches, and it's only 18 inches deep, so it's really long and really shallow. I'm like, proportionally, it wants to be like 60 inches. And they're like, yeah, we get it, we know, but no. I'm like, oh, like, dang it. Because I understand I am building it for the space.
Right.
I'm building it for a particular space, and that is where it's going to go, and that's where it has to live. It is what it is. But part of me also says, "Aw, as a woodworker, like, I want it to look right. It'll probably be fine. It might be opposite what John said. I might build it and be like, oh, yeah, that looks right.
Yeah. Happy accidents, like you said.
Yeah, happy accidents. Speaking of which, I'm going to try to wear this shirt during one of our podcasts. So people need to watch for that. Mm-hmm. It is a Bob Ross
button down
shirt. Yep. So you guys be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Feels like that needs to be a TV show shirt at some point too. Wear that for an episode.
Yeah. How would PBS feel about that? I don't know.
I think they'd be all right. I think we'd be okay.
I think so.
You can get a Mr. Rogers one.
Yeah.
I don't know who else.
I do have a Ron Swanson one too.
Okay.
I have a Nick Offerman shirt.
Yeah.
So
maybe a Reading Rainbow shirt.
Oh, there we go. That'd be sweet.
I don't think they make one of those, but
I think
these are all ideas.
Reading Rainbow's coming back, though, right?
It is, yes.
Gritty reboot. But don't take my word for it.
Yep.
So
now, the other one would be Wishbone, right? At least from my childhood. You guys were probably too old for Wishbone.
Yeah.
Yeah. My childhood entertainment usually consisted of like Robotech and G.I. Joe, Transformers.
Mask. Voltron.
Mask. Mm-hmm. Voltron, yep. My younger brother was kind of into Thundercats for a while.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Your younger brother and I are close to the same age.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But then all your classics, like DuckTales and Darkwing Duck and...
Yep.
Wishbone was a children's television series that aired from 95 to 97 on PBS.
Okay.
There's a little Jack Russell Terrier.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
His name was Wishbone.
Yep.
I would have been in high school at that time. So was not catching that.
Yep.
You would have been the odd child if you could.
Yeah. Yep.
Then I had to skip ahead for my kids, and then it was, like Martha Speaks and Arthur and
the Woodsmith Shop.
The Woodsmith Shop.
Woodsmith Shop. Otherwise known as Woodworking Wiggles.
Yeah.
All right. See, we did it. One full sauna session for the ShopNotes Podcast, episode number 250. Hard to believe. We started this in January of 2020, mostly out of rage and spite, because other folk in the company were saying how hard it was to start a podcast because of blah, 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 blah. And folk over at Woodsmith decided, like, hey, hold my beer. We can do this.
And you know what? They were right, though.
They were, but their podcasts aren't still going, and ours is. And
still with all the rage and spite.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really the secret ingredient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dr. Banner has it right. You're just angry all the time.
Always angry. Yep. Always
That's
angry.
how you do it. All right. If you have any angry comments that you want to submit, you can put those in on our show notes comment section on YouTube, ShopNotes Podcast. We have our own channel for it. Like and subscribe and get the notifications for all that. You can also send us an email, woodsmith@woodsmith.com. Just let us know that it's a podcast comment on there, and we will feed off of it. Like Minox on the power cables. That's what we are. When you're working on a project, you put in hours of effort. The last thing you want is for it to come apart because the glue didn't hold. That's why you should keep a bottle of Gorilla Wood Glue on the bench. It's non-foaming, dries a natural color, and of course, it's Gorilla Strong. Built by you, backed by Gorilla. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.